All right, y'all. Finally got most of my cooling system in. Um, so these are Honda CBR 300 radiators. I know. Someone in the comment is going to say, "Well, is that enough to cool that Ducati engine?" Well, it's kind of a multitude of different variables that is slightly different than a stock Panigale application. So for one, a lot of people do complain about how hot these Ducati 1199s run. There are some variables that are different in my case with the engine being in the Grom. So for one, I mean, it's kind of apparent everything is a lot more exposed. I know that isn't saying much, but I would think that that would only help with everything being more exposed to airflow, etc. Um, and then both of these radiators will have fans on them, whereas the Ducati only has like one fan. And the radiators are actually pretty small on those bikes, to be honest, even for it to be a really fast street bike, um, or I guess a big engine street bike. And then one other thing that I am going to do, or I guess another thing that's different in my case, is these won't be blocked by any type of shrouding, because I really don't think the Ducati 1199s, Panigales, have really good airflow to the radiators. And then the worst thing is that they actually have a really, really high coolant fan cut-on temp. I want to say it's in the neighborhood of like 215 degrees, which is absolutely crazy because that technically is like overheating territory. So mine will be much, much lower. It'll probably be like 180 degrees, like a typical car coolant temp. So thing that does kind of suck though is that this one I got a good deal on eBay, but I really don't think it's that much of a good deal anymore because I think UPS screwed me on this. So you can see how this is bent up. So that kind of sucks. All right, so the plan for these is to basically run them parallel. So the way I'm going to do that, I guess I'll start off by saying that the Ducati coolant inlet and outlet ports, they are a little bit under 1-inch ID hose size. Obviously, these ports on this radiator are much smaller. I think these might be like 5/8, maybe half-inch, 5/8, something like that. So these are getting cut off. And then I'll be welding AN fittings to them, probably like in the dash 10 territory. But basically how these will be plumbed is in parallel. So with these ports cut off, I'll basically have a fitting on each tank. And I'll have a single dash 16 line coming out of the inlet and outlet port on the engine. And that'll break off into a Y. And then you'll have like a dash 10 off that same line tying into the inlet ports of the radiator, and then the same thing on the outlet ports. So it'll basically be either 2 dash 8s from the radiator or from each radiator side teed into a single dash 16. So that's kind of the plan for that, and that would allow me to not hinder flow and match actually probably a little bit larger cross section than what's actually on the coolant inlet and outlet port on the Ducati engine. So that's kind of the plan right now. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, but I figure it's worth a try. I got 2 of these radiators, and I don't know. It might work out pretty good. I guess we'll see. But yeah. And then I guess another thing that is probably worth showing is I actually got this today. This actually came from the same guy that I bought the 1199 engine from. But this is a Brembo master cylinder clutch assembly. This actually came off of I believe a 2023 Panigale. So the only thing is missing is the line, which isn't a big deal because I'm getting a custom banjo line anyways. So yeah, this will help out a lot. This actually fits the Grom bars that I have on there from the Grom shop, which are the race bars. So I'm gonna throw this on when I get to the shop, take the radiators up there, try to mock some stuff up and see what everything is looking like. So yep, let's head up to the shop and then go from there. All right, so I'm back up at the shop. I brought some parts up here with me. Obviously the radiators Like I said, these are Honda CBR 300 radiators. So first things first, that horn has to come off. I mean, even really with that gone, it still might be tight. So it's not slid in there all the way, but that would allow the fan to basically face the front. So one of these will be mounted up here, and then kind of what I want to do is all of these ports are basically getting cut off and upsized, and like I mentioned before, this will be like a parallel flow. So I'm thinking about having a dash 8 fitting on each end tank on each radiator, and then those are basically tee into inlet and outlet, basically tee into their own sides, and then go to like a single dash 16 to go on there. This is a lot larger than the ports on these radiators. I think that's like almost a little under 1 inch ID. So that's kind of the plan right now. The secondary radiator, it might have to get mounted at an angle. It's kind of a compromise, but I mean, that is kind of what's required because I don't have a lot of space. So that's just thinking out loud right now. Then I got the coils up here. When you guys watched my engine video back in December when I ran the Panigale on Fueltech. I was literally using GM LS coils to run it. These are super easy to integrate. You don't got to do any type of quirky stuff. These are a 4-pin style, like a smart coil, and they just work. So I kind of use these on all my projects. I use the same exact coil on the Turbo YZ project and everything. And then what's even better is these are the OEM, I believe these are Magnacore wires for the Ducati Panigale, and these literally plug right onto the GMLS coils like they were made for them. So right now we're thinking of probably mounting these on this side right here. Just a crude example, but it'll probably be in this general area, easy to get to. So and then another thing, because I had a few people asking me about this as well, but these Grom panels, these Grom original panels are going on. You just got to make mounts for them. So I got to clean this one off too, but these are going back on the bike. The other side, we might have to get a little bit creative, because if you can see, I'll show you from this side right here, but that's the exhaust port. You look from this side right here. We need an exit for this to come out. So the thing that sucks about this is that it has to come out here, which will require some serious pipe cuts. So the plan is to basically come out of here with pipe cuts, make a little small header, and then have it transition to like a 2-inch V-band or 2 1/4. And then that would basically allow this small piece to disconnect from the overall header system. Problem is this panel mounts in this area right here, and that's literally right where the exhaust needs to come out. So in order to make this work, we are going to run the stock one on the left side, and then probably try to make like a heat shield resembling this on the right side, and then I might even try to get it painted or coated or Cerakoted to match. So it's kind of the plan now. The suspension does need to be upgraded, but that'll happen in due time. I mean, that's kind of to be expected, because added like 80-90 pounds to the bike. But everything is coming together pretty good. Got the fuel pump up here. We haven't started on the fuel cell yet, but that's like one of the next big items. So that's how that looks. It has a flow sensor, everything. This is from a 2008 Suzuki Hayabusa. So kind of makes it easy to integrate into like one-off projects like this. And then just to be safe, I kind of put a 6AEN fitting on here because that's probably what I'll use for a feed fitting. Just to make sure we have the clearance in the swing arm, because that was kind of the purpose of getting this extended swing arm, just to give me real estate for a secondary tank. What you said, this stock tank, this will hold like 2 liters, right? The one?
Just about half a gallon.
Half a gallon. So, yeah, the secondary one will be mounted in this area. That's literally the only reason I did an extended arm, because I'm really not a fan of them, but it's just kind of a necessity with this project. So, but I also managed to get this clutch assembly on. This is a Brembo unit from like a 2023 V4S Panigale. So that actually looks pretty good on there, to be honest. Better than I thought it would. I mean, the levers are mismatched, but I'll see if I could probably swap these out, get a higher quality one. But I got to get a custom line made for this, a banjo line. So I'll probably end up getting that from like Inline 2, which is a local place up here in Michigan. They can make pretty much any type of fluid line. And then what else? Get up here and show you guys what this looks like. So, and then like in my other video, like I said, this still very much so feels like a Grom. Like, it does not feel abnormal in any shape or form. So I'm happy about that. But that's pretty much what that clutch assembly looks like. Already has the master cylinder on it. The reservoir, and then a brake upgrade will be in order. I think they make a dual Brembo brake kit for these, so I'm gonna have to do some research on that. But once again, that'll be something that'll be upgraded in due time, because I'm just more so trying to get something out and running and just take it easy. I'm not trying to do anything crazy on this from the get-go, because I already know the power is gonna feel stupid in something like this. And then I also got the stock oil pan. A lot of people were curious about that. This was something that I initially thought that I was gonna have to do custom, maybe like a custom shallow mount billet oil pan. But it looks like the stock one will work. I mean, it has a lot more clearance than I thought it would have. And you really have to take into account that the suspension is like semi-compressed right now because of the weight of the engine. So once I change out the forks and the rear shock, it'll gain even more ground clearance. So this will for sure work. I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen even some OEM bikes, like when people lower them, the oil pan is lower than mine is in this freaking Ducati Grom. So I'm really happy about that, because that wasn't going to be cheap to have that made. And then this is the stock OEM Panigale header. Reason I kept this is because these do use proprietary ports, like these oval 3-bolt ports. So this will be real helpful for us to actually build an exhaust off of. So this I can actually retain from the stock bike. See how it's on there? It's already pointing in the right direction and everything, so that'll work out pretty good. And then the plan for this is to get all this stuff like Cerakoted, and then I might wrap it too, just to, you know, keep control of the heat radiating off of this stuff. Because it's literally like trying to package 10 pounds of shit in like a 2-pound bag, literally. I don't think that, I think this is probably like the perfect example of that saying. But still chipping away at stuff. This brake pedal will be getting modified. I'll probably end up doing like a master cylinder, like the same one on my Turbo YZ, because I think in the stock application, when you, I believe it's when you push down, it pushes up into the master cylinder, whereas my YZ is reverse, if I'm not mistaken. I forget. But that's kind of the plan for the rear brake. These Evil swing arms, they kind of require you to do a little bit of weird customization to get a rear brake to work with them anyways. Because a lot of the guys that like drag race these Groms, they don't even run rear brakes, which is absolutely crazy to me. But it's definitely a thing. And then this peg has to be extended out, because if you look at it from the side, it is like that clutch cover is it's kind of like the same issue I had when I put the clutch lock out on my Turbo YZ, but this shouldn't be crazy extending this out to get a little bit more surface area for me to put my foot on. I can't wait to weigh this thing and see how much weight we have for that.
Not really that much, I don't think.
Yeah, it really don't feel
Well,
that
that
crazy.
rigid motor plus maybe 5 pounds on the tubing. After that, not much besides the secondary radiator.
Yeah.
I was looking at pictures of it stopping.